So a transition into, I think you have some other juicy deals you've been looking up, right? Hyundai Heavy Industries, a bunch of different things. So wherever you want to go with it.
Yeah, as you can see, I have a little bit of a smile on my face right now. So, found a lot of good stuff the past couple weeks, if you will. The first thing that I do want to share is, and this should hit right to home for everybody, is an article that came out, and I will post this about 2 weeks ago from the National Defense Magazine, and it's called "Transforming in Contact: Army Assessing What Success Looks Like." And the beautiful part about this article is the the article is based off on basically two or three divisions. Oh, yep, that's it. And the two or three divisions are the 2nd Brigade Mobile Combat Team of the 101 1st Airborne Division and the 2nd Brigade 25th Infantry Division, as well as the 2nd Cavalry. Now, why are those important to Palantir? Because they are fucking using Palantir. Well, those two, the first two, that belongs to the 18th Airborne Corps. That's Maven. That's Project Scarlet Dragon. So the 2nd Brigade Combat Team of the 101 1st Airborne Division and the 25th Division, that's under the 18th Airborne Corps. This is Palantir. The 2nd Cavalry Brigade that I mentioned, that was the Brave Partner exercise. This is Palantir. This is the thesis. So when everybody, you can see, you got me all excited. So when everybody says to me, oh, Palantir can't grow, fuck you. You don't know what you're reading. You don't know where your sources are. I'm going straight to the guy who's on the front lines who says, you know what? It's because of Palantir I'm breathing here today. And I just want to say thank you to Brandon Sang, Shield AI co-founder and CEO. He responded to one of my tweets. He's an ex-veteran, and he has said, I'm standing here today because Palantir saved my troops' life. So that's why I think everybody needs to just say, fuck you to all these haters when it comes to the government sector, because they would do this even if they weren't paid.
Yeah.
And that's the most insulting thing, I think, even to someone like Karp, is he would say to you, you know what? Keep your damn money. I want you to come back alive. And that's the honest damn's truth. And with this, you can see, and this is it. This is it. This is, you won't get any clearer than this. And you can see in the division, you can see in the article that they have, quote, 3 formations or iterations. They had iteration 1, iteration 2, which was an improved iteration of iteration 2, and now they're going to work towards iteration 3. But the other part of it is the 2nd Cavalry Regiment. If it says here, if you look at it, it says Army Special Operations Command and the 2nd Cavalry Regiment. That's fucking SOCOM. So now we're getting SOCOM involved, and we know SOCOM and Palantir work together. So this article is Palantir. This is the thesis. So if you have any idea, if you want to know, is it working? Is it improving? Is it coming? This is it. So when I say Maven is the thesis, it's because that is Palantir's way of command and control, which is basically brainstorming and decision-making. That's their goal on the battlefield. Suck up all the data, look at it, brainstorm, make the decision. So you're seeing all these different divisions now. Michael Schaefer, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I met Michael at AIPCon, and I mean, he told me a story of literally him being in Afghanistan, and he was, I think, 50 to 100 feet away of being blown up and dying. And it's like, and he was there, and he was implementing Palantir at the time. And it's like, I think we don't hear enough from the people that were there on the ground using Palantir software, and that software being one of the reasons why they're alive today, which is, it's hard when people say the government business doesn't matter because they don't know how deeply it does in regards to people's lives.
It's, it's truly amazing to see it. It's more amazing to hear it firsthand, obviously. It's kind of sad that and we've spoken about this before, where people that we've grown up with, and obviously the world is much different today than when we were kids, proud to be an American, and now I'm not proud to be an American. And that's a bad, trajectory, because you should be. And, there's a lot of, obviously every country has had there are issues, if you will. No country is perfect, but to say we're bad, you're either indoctrinated, imprisoned, institutionalized, in denial, or just a bigot. And there's a reason why, and in Orsis, people were climbing onto planes in Afghanistan because they want to come here.
Yes.
I don't
Yes.
see people leaving America trying to go to Afghanistan. Not to say I'm picking on
Although the Hamas supporters in Colombia might want to do that, but they never end up doing it for some reason. For some reason they don't end up going to the Middle East.
I'm going to hold my comment for now.
I'm not trying to trigger you this morning, but okay. So SOCOM, the Army. What else is kind of integrated here in terms of the pipeline of deals that you see coming up?
So, but this was like a major thing that I just had to bring up because this was basically them saying in 2024, we tried it, it's working, and it's improving. And it is, they didn't pick some random, they picked people that are using Palantir. So that's the main thing. So it's very, very big that people recognize that. So now we're going to go down, and I will post this article once we're done so everybody can read it. And you could see that was, look at that. 15 million? Are you fucking kidding me? That's it? Add a goddamn zero. Add 2 zeros. Like 15 million is nothing. So back to, so now with just the rabbit hole of the government business, and because it's so big, I'm even finding stuff that's new. And this is going to be a really good one. So in the military, there is a mission command center of excellence. And it's just a fancy name for all these different places. But in any event, one of the, I'll call it subdivisions that fall in here happens to be called, drumroll please, Command and Control Integration Directorate. Hello. So as soon as I saw that, I obviously went to go grab a Kleenex and a computer and to go into a little private room. And I did some digging. And this was remarkable. And the Command and Control Integration Directorate gave a couple $100 million contract to this company called Summit Technologies. So as you can imagine, when I read that, I went very from hard to soft. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? So I had to do a little bit more digging, and I went to Summit Technologies, and they have a partner page. And on the partner page, if I remember correctly, there was Bose, and then there was like a couple other that I never really were familiar with. So I'm looking into one of the other partners, and they have a partner called, I just got to find it, Dawson, which is a partner of this Summit Technologies. And this Dawson basically is analytical support for the Command and Control Integration Directorate. So me being me, I did some digging and I found a special someone on the internet that happens to work for Dawson. And the best part is, listen to this. As part of his experience for Dawson, he's establishing cleaning, processing, and categorization procedures for ADP SEO5 working group by leveraging Army Vantage, Microsoft Access Excel, and Power BI to improve the effectiveness of Command and Control Integration Directorate. So he's using Vantage, aka Foundry, in his day-to-day at the CTID. So these are the little things that we need to find. So when we see these consortium of partners, there's so many that we don't even see out there that Palantir is even connected to because it's so big. So this Summit Technologies wins I think it was I don't remember what the dollar amount was. They win a contract in 2023 for support for the CTID. They use their partners because I think Summit Technology is more of like a consulting firm, sort of like a Deloitte or an Accenture kind of deal, if that makes sense. I think I could be wrong. And then, Dawson steps up and goes, oh, dude, we use Palantir. We know it perfectly. This is perfect for this, integration. And if you remember, going back to what you were saying before with all the deepening of relationships, we mentioned Anduril, we mentioned L3, Shield AI, this consortium. Hello, Microsoft as well with Azure. And if you saw, this guy is using Azure. And we saw the deepening relationship of Palantir, OpenAI, Microsoft. So now you're seeing all these connections. So Palantir and now is in theory, obviously I need to do a little bit more research, but they are helping power the command and control integration directorate of the Army, of the military. So this is it. Palantir is the premier software integrator. This is the main cha-ching. So that was incredible. I just needed to share the transforming of the Army, the find for this, little, command and control integration directorate. But now I'm going to just shift towards the end. And I think everyone will be very happy if they do remember. And you'll definitely remember, and this is all sort of connected, as I like to say, everything is disjointed, but jointed is a two-part thing. So there's an opportunity out for this system called flights, and it's going to be connected to the Air Force Lifecycle Management. And flights was built by this company called One Network. All right. One Network was bought by this company, Blue Yonder. Well, last year, Panasonic bought Blue Yonder. Now, it's not Panasonic Energy, and we know Palantir's relationship with Panasonic Energy, but Panasonic bought this company that is helping with the flights software. Do you think there's any potential crossover? Because it will all be about Air Force lifecycle management and being able to pull all these data from all these systems together. So do you think Panasonic might be saying to their, their Blue Yonder people, saying like, hey, I think it's time we shift to Palantir for part of your thing because they do A, B, and C. So just keep that in the back of your mind. It's with the Air Force Lifecycle Management. Now, if you remember last year, I came on here and I was very excited to tell everybody about the $46 billion EWAC, which is part of the Air Force Lifecycle Management Project Vulcan Forge initiative, which is basically a one-clip ammo for the Air Force to just get through everything in a day-to-day warfighter setting. Well, I've been doing more digging on the EWAC, and interesting enough, the Palantir was awarded that $1,000, if you remember, for the on-ramp.
Yep.
So that was, I knew their name was in the ring. But I found another contract that they were awarded as well. No dollar amount, nothing. But the key was the $1,000 one was only for like 2-3 months. This one, it's not supposed to end till 2031. So what the hell does that mean? Now, to make it even juicier, I also found a contract for L3 for this. And I also found a contract for Bose for this. So the EWAC on-ramp Vulcan Forge, it's a extremely large effort that's going to take multiple companies to come together and put this into fruition. It is like JADC2. It is all under the JADC2 umbrella. So now we're going to see, hopefully, that's why I've been telling to you, I've seen a lot of Air Force and a lot of Navy, because especially the Navy. The Navy was really the last domino, but I'm seeing a lot of Air Force opportunities. And you're starting to see it because our partners that are more concentrated in the Air Force effort or are more concentrated in hardware related to Air Force, initiatives, they're bidding and they're winning. And Palantir is also now bidding because they're saying, no, 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 no. You do this, we do that, or we come together and we all win together. So we're seeing all these Air Force opportunities. So with like this summit one that I saw, there's a white paper that came out and it's, quote, secret topic number 53. That's what it says. Doesn't say anything else other than, and then obviously it's all the software related stuff, but it sounds exactly like Project Hydra, which was related to Vulcan Forge and which is now connected to L3, Bose, Palantir. I'm sure Northrop is connected. And you see this going on, especially with air and space, because, and this is for DV, because he wanted me to talk about it. Titan is obviously Palantir. But the Hades program, which is going to be connected to Titan, was awarded to Sierra Nevada, which is part of the Palantir team for Titan. But L3 is suing Sierra Nevada because they want that, who is also part of the Palantir team. So the best part is Palantir is going to be helping with everything, regardless of who the winner is. So that is what people need to see. This is the scale of the government business. So when we see L3 win, Palantir wins. When we
Right.
see Anderhol wins, Palantir wins. And if they do truly come through with a consortium, which at the end of the day, the warfighter needs a consortium because one company is producing ammo shells, another company is producing, bulletproof vest. Everyone's coming together to create this, and everyone's doing their part. Palantir just wants to get obviously they want the whole pie. They want everybody to succeed and come back alive and everyone to prosper. That's their goal. So that's why we're going to see 2025. I'm hoping to see a lot of Air Force and Navy related stuff. You're seeing a lot of water. I'm just going to use water related stuff as it relates to HD heavy Hyundai Industries. And that's going to be the key for 2025, ocean wise. So everyone knows about Skywise and their relationship with Airbus. Ocean wise is the next major ecosystem being built. And Oceanwise is going to have to be built and adapted by all of our allies. So we'll have the Five Eyes, we'll have AUKUS, you'll have NATO, you'll have the United States, because shipbuilding and the Navy related prowess is just deteriorating, and they can't build ships enough, and they need modern software, warp speed. So we're going to see all this stuff. So I'm expecting, for government wise, a lot of Navy and Air Force related stuff. You see, they're very embedded with the Army, obviously. And I'm still going to say this till the day I'm blue in the face. We're on the Titan timeline. So the major alpha government growth, like you said, it might clip over 40 by the end of Q4, but it's still going to come after Titan is official, which unfortunately is not for another year or two.
Essentially, your thesis is wrapping up to be that Palantir is in the middle of every sort of major thing the government wants to do when it comes to defense, and all the other vendors that are out there that are winning, getting deals, securing partnerships. There is going to be, or likely is, some connection back to Palantir, which should result in incremental more revenue growth for the company.
Absolutely. And I've said it before, they understand they're not going to develop everything. So when, Amit Inc. develops this amazing, jamming technique for electronic warfare, you have to get that product to the government for the warfighter to use. So that's where Palantir comes through with their FedRAMP and Mission Manager and all their, software infrastructure, because they said, you developed it, go use it, and like the App Store, pull it in, pull it, and take it off as you need, and call it a day. That is their focus, is to be able to give them the ability to pull any app, any piece of software, deploy it at any given time, at any given moment, which actually brings us to one of my other greatest last little discoveries for an RFI. And this one I was really happy to see, because it screamed Apollo. It finally said, I think we need Apollo. And I think everybody in the Palantir community can relate that Apollo is probably the most misunderstood, and probably, I'll say, the most underappreciated one of their platforms, because it's about deploying software, which is, when you think about it in essence, not a very sexy or fun thing, but it's very, very important. So when I saw this, it's an RFI for new modern software delivery. So they're looking for a new way on how to deliver software. Hello, it's Apollo. So I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they win this, and this one goes with the Army as well. And what I'm really looking at with this one is, it's the Army Contracting Command of Aberdeen Proving Ground, which is the same exact office that is overseeing Titan. So think about it. If the whole point of Titans is sensor to shooter time, you're going to need to be able to deploy and give all these software updates in real time at the edge, and that's what Apollo is. So I think we might really see a big government Apollo adoption potentially, maybe not in 2025, but in the next year or so, I think we could start seeing some real Apollo get, mentioned in DoD. And the real other thing that people need to understand, just as it relates to government, what we speak about is only the Department of Defense. We saw the State Department with the Operations Center. They got that 1-year contract. So we might get something in the next couple months to extend that. We also saw that they delivered or approved an $8 billion arms deal for Israel. So, and we know Palantir is, related to Israel. So all these other departments as well are going to be the interesting thing. So State Department, how do they start adapting Palantir in 25 and with Doge? The IRS, the Department of Education, because the whole point of Palantir from a government standpoint is to have a piece of operating software where they can pull data from different systems and put it in a single glass pane of truth and then make a decision on that truth. So these other departments and these other parts of the government, Department of Health, Department of Homeland Security, NSA, they need this modernization effort. So we might not see it a lot from the military because they're already sort of doing it and they've been doing it, but we might see it on like the boring portions, if you will, of the Department of Defense and Doge. I mean, not Department of Defense, but the government overall. People have to remember that.